Hello and welcome to all those that have joined us online, as well as, of course, those of you that are live here with us. Very exciting times indeed. So my name is Dr. Marla Coonan. I'm the Executive Dean for Strategy and Stakeholder Management here at the Vinci Institute. But today it is indeed my honor to welcome you and to be your Program Director for this auspicious occasion, your graduation of your Bachelor of Commerce in Business Management. I heard some of you standing outside my office this morning and saying, I cannot actually believe we finally made it and we are here. Well, I want to say to Bronwyn, to Brenda, to Yandiswa, to Carmen, to Stembiso, to Refense, to Mlekleto, to Tandeka, to Flora, to Jacqueline, to Lucia, to Harry, to Paroshni, to Rosalind, and to Leroy, you have made it and you are here. Congratulations. Distinguished guests, family and friends, and those that have joined us both here and online, welcome to this 2022 graduation ceremony. I just want to go through a couple of house rules before the procession comes in, but as you know at Da Vinci, we don't really have rules, so I'll just say house comments. The first one is your formal photographs are taking place over here is the photographer. You will have one photograph with our council and Senate representatives. You will be standing on the white dot over there. They will position themselves on either side of you. I might be speaking at the time. Please ignore me and smile and wave and look at the camera. And then the second over there is where you actually get capped and you graduate. You only finally graduated after we dissolve the congregation, but you will be graduated at that moment. And that's where we put your cap over, and then you will also look at the camera and smile for that. I know friends and family want to take photos. You are more than welcome to take photos, videos, etc. Please just don't use flash photography because it does interfere. And the reason we have these more small and intimate graduations where you can really celebrate is because we don't want you to run across the stage. So please take your moment of glory. You can dance, sing. Someone asked me if they can lie across the carpet. I said with pleasure. I know the F&B groups like to go crazy, so maybe I shouldn't have said that to this group. But please, we want you. This is a wonderful achievement. If you want to smile, blow a kiss, family ululations, anything you want, please enjoy your time up here. That is why we make them small so that you don't have to rush off. And those that try to rush off because you're shy, I will publicly stop you, so then you won't be able to rush off. Without further ado, please could I ask that you rise for the academic procession. You may be seated. So for those of you that have joined us online, just to let you know, you will be seeing exactly what our students sitting here and family members see. So those that have joined us online, you might see their names in front, but they can see as if they were sitting in the audience with you. So you're welcome to also wave at them and say hello, and they are welcome to keep their cameras on or off. So before we begin, this is a formal ceremony, and in order for me to be allowed to graduate you, we have to get a member of the highest academic decision-making body of the Institute to formally open this as a legal proceeding. So today we have our Senate representative. There's someone waving at you to say hello. Mr. Ezra Ndwandwe, who is a Senate representative of the Da Vinci Institute, and he will be formally opening this congregation this morning. Thank you very much.
Can I mask off?
Absolutely.
By the power vested in me as the member of the Da Vinci Institute Senate, I hereby constitute this congregation as a lawful gathering for the Da Vinci Institute.
So even though I told you you are our most distinguished guests, which you certainly are, I do have to recognize some of the cloaked and robed people as well, because they're also distinguished. So to my left, as I've introduced, is Mr. Ezra Ndwandwe, who is a Senate member of the Da Vinci Institute and one of our esteemed associate faculty as well. To his left is Mr. Satish Rupa, who is our council representative. The Da Vinci Institute Council has a strategic business function at the Institute. They guide us as bastions of different industries. Mr. Rupa is very au fait in the legal proceedings, so we need to make sure today everything is perfect. He represents us on the Da Vinci Institute Council and is here as a council representative to oversee this graduation. And to his left is Ms. Louise Fuller, who is our registrar of the Da Vinci Institute, who will be capping you today. We then have our guest speaker, Dr. Peter Champion, who you will soon meet, but is sitting to my right, your left, over there. And then behind him is Professor Harbia Klopper, who's the CEO of the Da Vinci Institute, who has also joined us. Everyone is waving at him over there. And then online, we have a number of the executive and Senate and council members that have also joined to just show how special and important each of you also is. So we always like to have people inspire us at our graduation ceremonies to give us a vote, a word or something to say. And I better be careful because Mr. Rupa is very versed in law when I use Latin. But I want to speak, when I introduce Dr. Peter Champion, about something that is a Latin word, and I'm going to be speaking to quite a bit today, and that is about purpose. So the Latin derivative of the word purpose is propositium. I don't know if I got that correct. And it means a thing intended. The derivative of a purpose is also from Old French for purpose, which is the aim or intention. So the entire root or etymology of the word purpose is about our aim and our intention in life. And Dr. Peter Champion, who's a proud Da Vinci alumnus, is a man who truly understands purpose and intent because he has an extremely holistic way of dealing with life. He understands that to be a holistic individual, you've got to have balance. At Da Vinci, we speak of holism, and that is all about balance and finding that balance as a leader. So he's a committed father and grandfather. He has multiple hobbies such as fly fishing and golf, but he also has represented as a leader a multitude of industries such as mining, agriculture, retail, construction, and he is currently the Group Human Resources Executive for Cashbuild, which, as I'm sure you know, is a listed company on the JSE and the largest hardware retailer in South Africa. So why I spoke about purpose is that many people think we only have one purpose. But the reality is, to be a truly holistic individual, we have to find holism in purpose. And that is why I like the old definitions from Latin and from French, because we often lose it. And that is about a thing intended, our aim, our purpose. Who do we intend to be and what do we want to be? So I hope today, as you hear his words, you think of your purpose, your intentions, and your aims, but also that you remember that to have true purpose, we have to have holism. So to one of our holistic leaders of the Da Vinci Institute, I introduce to you Dr. Peter Champion.
That's quite an introduction. It's scary. Morning, everybody. Morning to all the distinguished guests, but most importantly, morning to you, the graduates. I sat there last year, and we had a guy that spoke to us, a little 9-year-old professor. He spoke for 45 minutes, so please make yourselves comfortable. No, seriously, it won't be more than a 10-minute chat. But first, before I start, I think a really great congratulations to yourselves, to your family, to your friends that have supported you through this process, and I think you all deserve a round of applause. And then there was the word balance that was spoken about, and it works out quite well, because that is really what I'm going to be talking about today. But the important thing to remember is that your educational journey hasn't ended today with a graduation. It's actually only just started. And it is something that really, in the changing world that we live in today, we need to grasp, is that it's a lifelong learning journey that you've started. I remember as a young boy being dropped off at boarding school by my dad and my mom. And my dad, every time I got out of that car, he would say to me, "Study hard, my boy." And my mom would look at me and say, "Enjoy your sport." This, needless to say, led to some heated debates between my parents saying, "What message are you sending to this young man?" But what they were really sending was, you need to live a balanced life. And they set that foundation for me. But over the years, I started to question, what does balance actually mean? Is balance a balance between work and family? Or is it between personal and family? Is it between recreation and family? What is it? Is it between having knowledge and not having knowledge? And that whole point of balance started to really worry me. And through that reflection, I started to realize that it's actually all of the above. People often talk about work-life balance, and they say you must have work-life balance, but it's far more than work-life. We are diverse people, and we've got families, we've got sport, we've got studies, we've got work, we've got everything that's influencing us and impacting on us, and we need to get that balance right between us. Work-life balance often goes out of kilter because we start chasing the corporate ladder. We want to climb up that corporate ladder and we forget about our family. Or we focus on the family and we forget about that corporate ladder, because you do need to climb the corporate ladder. We all have our own levels of what we want to get to, but we need to focus on getting there. And so I also started to look and say, if I'm going to have balance, how do I influence that? Am I the one who influences it, or am I influenced by my circumstances? Am I a product of my circumstances, or am I a product of my decisions? And again, it's a bit of everything. It all comes down to getting that balance right and understanding that balance. But what I started to realize is, in order to get that balance, I need to have knowledge. And when I say knowledge, I need to understand the world around me. I need to have book knowledge. I need to have street smart. So again, it's all about balance. And what you guys have done now is you've started this journey of getting book knowledge. But the way Vinci works, they've also incorporated it with street smarts, with understanding how the world works. So that balance becomes extremely, extremely important. What it actually led me to do, and hopefully it'll encourage you, is to go on a lifelong learning journey. I never went to university on a full-time basis. I've done everything correspondence. I started late in life because I enjoyed my sport. I didn't have the balance. But I started to get the balance right and started studying very late in life, but it became a lifelong journey. So my parents' words of "enjoy your sport, my boy," from my mom, and my dad saying "work hard," they were actually spot on, both in their own way. So what I wish to share with you today are 9 lessons that I've learned in my lifelong learning journey. And the first one was, don't let perceived barriers prevent you from gaining your goals, because there are perceived barriers. It's up to us to overcome those barriers. You've already started that journey now. By getting your BCom degree, getting it today, you've started to overcome that first barrier. And within South Africa, we've got a very diverse workforce. Very diverse workforce. You see, I think I'm back at work. We've got a very diverse nation. And there's a lot of people that have got a lot of barriers in their way, but don't let those perceived barriers prevent you from getting through it. Maintain your balance. Enjoy your sport. But at the same time, work hard. The second lesson that I learned is, we cannot change what's out of our control. So don't try it. It just frustrates you. But it doesn't mean you mustn't question everything. Because it's out of your control, you need to actually question and see how can you influence it. Many times through questioning what we perceive to be out of our control, we actually find that we can have a positive influence in those areas. And in a sense, you start controlling it. But don't try and change what you cannot control. The second one, which stems from this, we cannot control everything, is question everything. It's through questioning we break down barriers, we come up with innovative solutions, and we influence outcomes. However, in order to question, we need to understand what and why we're questioning. It doesn't help just to question for the sake of questioning. We need to understand why. And that is only done through research, understanding what it is that you're questioning. And I often hear people say, I've researched it. And when I say to them, so which view do you approve? They look at me like I've lost my marbles. Because what they've done is they've just looked for their cognitive bias, that suits them, that satisfies them. They've looked at Facebook and they said it was on Facebook, therefore it is. Ladies and gentlemen, research means looking at it from both angles and understanding people have different perspectives. And that's how we question things. And then you can make up your own mind and you can see how to get the balance right. So question everything but within context. The fourth lesson that I learned was ensure where you can have a positive influence, no matter what the obstacles are that you do. Don't give up. You guys you're working, you've studied correspondence, and part-time study is very difficult. You've got a balance of your family and your work and your life, and then you must still study. You've still got to write exams. I heard a few people when we walked in here this morning saying, we're going to graduate today, and that sense of excitement and achievement is well deserved. So make sure that you can have a positive influence. When you want to have an influence, it requires an element of boldness. You've got to be bold. But boldness doesn't mean that you must be arrogant. So be bold, yet not arrogant. The fifth lesson that I learned over the years has been, do not lord it over people. Because you have a qualification doesn't mean you're better than the next one. Because you may be the boss, because you may be privileged, doesn't mean that you're better than the next one. Because you may be underprivileged or you're not the boss, doesn't mean that you're no better than the next person. So don't lord it over people. Rather, let's take value from every single person. Everyone in this world can add value to our lives. And everyone does add value to our lives. The sixth one that led me on to there is, knowing what you can influence is one thing. It's another to know how to exert this influence and to overcome perceived obstacles. And that's where education really plays its role. To me, the value of education is it teaches you to think and to think laterally. It's not just about what I've learned out of the book and I can regurgitate, but it does teach one to think and to think differently. And that is where the influence comes in. The benefit, as I say, teaches us to think laterally, and that thinking process that education teaches us to look at problems from different aspects. And through that, we start to get innovative solutions. We start to understand problems, and we can then have the innovative ideas and solutions, and we can apply a systematic approach to solving perceived problems and to influencing in a positive way. The seventh one was that with knowledge and opportunity to influence comes a semblance of power and authority, whether it's real or perceived. And that power and authority is great, feels good at times. But ladies and gentlemen, it comes with responsibility as well. Always remember, you're working with people. You're working with the people that you're attempting to influence. We need to understand their situations. We need to understand their backgrounds. We need to understand their personalities. Without doing that, we're actually just being arrogant. It's said that people will not always remember what you said to them, but they will remember how you made them feel. So we need to be humble. But humility doesn't mean timidity. You need to be bold, you need to be humble. You don't need to be timid. And we don't need to be arrogant. The eighth one that I've learned is that we all have the ability to achieve, and you guys sitting over here have shown that you're above the average. There's not many people that have degrees in South Africa. You guys have achieved it. But with this increased knowledge that you've got, you need to learn to question every situation with a view to having a positive influence. And with that, we also have the temptation that we think we've got the degree now, we can change the world. And we want to change the world, and we want to do it on our own. It's noble in thought, but very, very dangerous in practice. So remember to take on what you can while still maintaining a balance. Work life, family, recreation, personal, get that balance right. Balance doesn't mean that every day you'll get it right. We all have different pressures at different times, but when you look back over a period of time, and you look back over a period of 6 months, 3 months, whatever that period is, you then should be able to see that you had a balance. There's a season for everything. It's when you look back and say, I've only spent time on work, I've only spent time on family, I've only spent time playing sport, I've only been selfish and looked after myself, you haven't got the balance. So look back over a period of time. You don't get it right every day of your life. I've got a daughter who's a school teacher who came to me last week telling me about how rough life is and that she can't achieve things. And when I sat her down and said, let's look back over the last year, she got the perspective. And it's all about perspective. Balance is about a perspective. The last point that I learned, and it's probably the one that stuck with me the most, is that knowledge is forever evolving, and we need to evolve with it. I did my master's in 2003, thought I'd arrived. I then did my PhD in 2021, 17 years apart, because I started to realize that I was falling behind in the working world. When I started to question things in the working world, I realized then that I didn't know what I thought I knew, I actually didn't know. And the more that I've learned, the more I've realized how little I really do know. So what I've learned is that knowledge is evolving. We need to evolve with it. We need to have continuous lifelong education and continuous learning. And the person responsible for it is you, me, ourselves. We're responsible for our own education and our own learning. These guys at Vinci are the ones that facilitate it. But we have to take that first step. And then part of that knowledge evolving is that I started to realize that there's obstacles that seem insurmountable. I cannot overcome them. But when I started to do my research, and I started to look at the books, and I started to speak to people, and I started to draw inspiration from them, I actually realized that these obstacles we can overcome. So you've started your educational journey today. You haven't finished it. You've graduated, and you must enjoy it and really sort of milk it, get as much as you can out of it. But when you finish that and it settles down and the dust settles down, you need to move on to that continuous education. So as you venture out back into your worlds of your well-deserved degrees and in hand, may you continue to influence where you can, influence your circle. Let people grow through you, share your knowledge with them. But remember to be bold, not arrogant, and to be humble, but not timid. So congratulations and thank you and well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you do feel inspired now, but I took two things out of that besides all the lessons as an overall summary. And that is that if you look at those 7 lessons and the various things connected to them, it is overarchingly about our mindset and making sure that in every situation we try regroup and recreate and find our purpose and have a very specific mindset. I always get fascinated when you see those massive elephants at the circus, which I hope we don't see much of anymore, and they've got this small chain connected to their foot. And I wonder to myself, do they understand that if they just moved their foot, they would snap that chain? I mean, it's against a little tiny pole. So the reality is they have the strength to do it, but they have a trapped mindset. They have been beaten, bashed, and brought to believe that they are not worthy of being free. And so they remain trapped even though they would be able to break those shackles. And I think I can equate that to a lot of us that allow our minds to be shackled. And education is something that is supposed to empower us to free our minds in various ways. But if our lives are balanced, as Dr. Champion says, then we will also have a better understanding around perspective. Because too often we say to ourselves that something is massive and it's huge and it's insurmountable, but it's because we do not put it into perspective, because we don't have balance. So if, for example, our career means everything to us and we don't achieve something when we want to, and we don't have anything outside of that, we become almost bogged down by that. But all of it is a matter of perspective, and it is influenced by our mindsets. The second thing and the last thing around balance, I want to remind you that whether you've changed your surname because you've gotten married, or whether you have, shifted your space from where you come, our family names and who we are and our origins make a massive part about the foundation of who we are. And we should never forget, no matter how high we rise, where we come from and who we are. So today, as much as I acknowledge you, I would like to also acknowledge the family name that you carry, because today you make that family name proud by becoming graduates. So I want to say to the Adonis family, congratulations on Bronwyn's achievements. Not yet, Bronwyn. To the Tebukulu family on Brenda's achievements, to the Tokoma family on Yandiswa, to the Hendricks family on Carmen, to the Machize family on Stembiso, to the Mangwedi family on Rufense, to the Mkonto family on Mihleketo. Good, yay! To the Mokwena family on Tandeka, to the Malotsi family on Flora, to the Moseki family on Jacqueline, yay! To the Nkosi family on Lucia, to the Petrarchus, yes, you'll have your chance, to the Petrarchus family for Harry, to the Reddy family for Paroshni, to the Russell family for Roslyn, and to the Thomas family for Leroy. Congratulations. It is how you raise these individuals that they're able to stand proud today. So we congratulate all the families on this day. And now it is time for the part you have been waiting for. I am going to have to hope that Mr. Ndwandwe gives me permission, otherwise I can't do it. So it is that exciting time. So what will happen now, I just don't want to break proceedings once I've requested permission, is that the candidate will come up, I will call their name, and then you will walk towards Mr. Ndwandwe and Mr. Rupa. They will stand on either side of you, and you will smile for the photo. I will read your project title out, because for us, research really is a massive influence, and that is your treasure and gift of knowledge that you have given this world so far. And so we will read your project title out. You will then make your way to Louise, and where you will be capped. So I'm just saying that up front. And then I just want to check I'm not sure if Tsolofelo has joined us in Karen, or if they are joining us online. Orpa? Are they joining us online? Okay, so I'd like to say to Tsolofelo Munyai, as well as Karen Festar from our associate faculty and Tsolofelo from F&B, to thank F&B for the sponsorship of students and what they do and continue to do for education in our country. It is wonderful when an employee is able to sponsor students and make these things happen for employees. But you are the ones that did the hard work. They are the ones that started the process. So congratulations to F&B as well for the contributions you've made to the brand. So now, Member of Senate, I honorably request that you confer the qualification Bachelor of Commerce in Business Management on the candidates I'm going to present to you today. Thank you for your permission. So Bronwyn, now it is your turn. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you our first candidate, Bronwyn Christine Adonis. Congratulations. Bronwyn's project title is a study to determine how teamwork in the foreign exchange outward bound team can be improved. Bronwyn, as you get capped today, I want to say to you congratulations, because in the TIPS managerial leadership framework, we have many things. One of them is about celebrating synergized accomplishments, which leads to a lot of agility. And the thing about teamwork is that it is about celebrating our synergized accomplishments that we have. But you also found ways in your study to facilitate conversation in order to make this happen. And when we look at the wheel, that makes something both agile and engaged. So I congratulate you on this endeavor. Well done. Brenda, I am trying to get my click right. I am trying my level best. I know, but I'm not getting my tongue right. So I know that it's Brenda Tebukulu. But I didn't get it exactly right. But out of respect, I will try one more time. Brenda Tebukulu. I am aware that I need to make my click. The project title of Brenda's research is The Impact of Digitization. Brenda, turn. Mr. Roop, this side. And Mr. Roop as well. Have we got them in the right direction? Okay. Okay, if you can just step forward. You stand there and turn, Brenda, and then Mr. Rupert will stand on your other side. All the way, Mr. Rupert, round, 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 round. Yes. Okay, so that's how the photos will be. Is that correct? Okay, good. Right, so Brenda's project, I'll repeat it again, was the impact of digitization on effective stockroom management. Brenda, when we look at the management of technology and the management of innovation, this is something that you really looked at in terms of looking at digitization for stockroom management. It is critical that we promote experimentation when we try and manage technology in an innovative way. And by looking at something like this, you really did show how to promote experimentation to lead to more agility through the management of technology and innovation in stockroom control. Congratulations. Yes, thank you. I was waiting, and I need some family stories and narrative. I mean, I didn't hear them. Okay, our next student, just a moment. I know I'm not saying your name incorrectly, Carmen. It is that Yandiswa is not here, but I do prefer to say people's names even in absentia out of respect. So our next graduate who's graduating in absentia is Yandisa Kokoma. Yandiswa's project title is Improving Customer Satisfaction Through Refining the Fraud and Dispute Process. I always say that embarking on the management of people when it comes to customer satisfaction and service is a critical aspect of any company's success, because if your customers are satisfied, then your organization will grow and thrive. So congratulations on looking at this in your absentia. And our next candidate who's before you today is Carmen Shireen Hendricks. Congratulations. Carmen's project title is Improving Device Custodian Competency Through Blended Learning. I want to say to you, Carmen, people clearly think that that is a very complex topic, because it actually is. And I think that one of the critical aspects that people don't understand about blended learning is that you have to keep people excessively engaged. And that requires you to learn and to show people how to facilitate conversation, how to engage in creative networks, to continually hear, to probe reflective practices, but it requires a sense of social and emotional intelligence and understanding cross-cultural engagement. So for looking at something very complex in terms of blended learning, I congratulate you and the Hendricks family. Well done. Now that's getting a bit more lively, guys. Well done. Our next student who's graduating in absentia, Refense, it's not you yet, is Stembiso Machize. Stembiso's project title is a study on the reasons for operational employee resistance to embracing financial technology, looking at robotics. This certainly shows agility in the management of technology in a highly innovative way, and that is something we need to do. If we want to manage both technology and innovation, we have to promote experimentation, which Sembiso certainly did. But it is your moment in the sun, Refense. I introduce to you Refense, Glodina, Johanna Mangwedi. Congratulations. I know, Refense, it's like the only time we hear our full names. Refense's project title is The Role of Non-Financial Incentives in Enhancing Employee Motivation, a CCB case study. Refense, I want to congratulate you because I started out speaking about holism, and that is something you've looked at. People think incentives always have to be financially based, and I think non-financial incentives often lead to amazing elements of balance. So for looking at innovative ways to try and make people feel happy within the workplace, and a deep understanding that it is about social and emotional intelligence and not just about the bottom line. I congratulate you today, Refense, and I say to the entire Mangwedi family, congratulations. So I see, Mihleketo, that you, did I pronounce it incorrectly? I'm trying my best to get it correct. Mihleketo, have I done it incorrectly? No. Should I say it? Mi-echleketo. Okay, I left the A out. Mi-echleketo. Terry Mkonto, please come forward. I will say it one more time. Mi-echleketo. I'm not getting it right. Mi-echleketo Terry Mkonto. Project title: The Effects of Training and Development on Improving Banking Employee Performance. I want to say that when we look at training and development, people often think that this is about only formal education as you've received today. But it is also about investing informally in people, which I know that you looked at as well, to say that people need to be trained and developed if we really want to improve employee performance. So for me, you really looked at things like the management of people, and you spoke to aspects such as facilitating conversation and engaging creative networks, which are key competencies if we want to truly have an engaged network and an engaged workforce. So for really looking at the investment in the employees of your organization, I say to you today, and I will say to the whole Mkonto family, congratulations on this remarkable achievement. Our next candidate is Thandeka Grace Mokoena. Congratulations. Project title: An exploration of alternative remote working solutions to mitigate the impact of load shedding. When we talk about innovation, I want to say to you that you have certainly, Thandeka, looked at things like operationalized ideation, problem probing, and transdisciplinary learning, because you've looked at various, you're not allowed to leave, social aspects at your moment in the sun. But the thing that reflected for me was the way that you probed the problem. The reason at Vinci that we don't speak about solutions is because we say you've got to have a truly deep and embedded understanding of the problem and the people and the entire complexity of the situation before you can come up with any type of solution. So for being a true problem prober, I congratulate you today. Well done. Now I can hear the Mokoena family, but it's a bit soft. I think it needs to be a bit louder. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you our next candidate, Flora Maki Molotsi. Congratulations. Project title: The Influence of Customer Relationship Management on Client Migration and Retention. In an economy that is really struggling, organizations need to be able to retain their clients. And I think customer relationship management is something that we don't do enough of in this country, because we have to engage our customers by facilitating conversation with them, but by also being as an organization both socially and emotionally intelligent and understanding true cross-cultural engagement, which we so often don't and miss the boat with our customers. Like, that is why I'm adamant about trying to get names correct, even if I don't, because it is out of respect for somebody's upbringing, their culture, and who they are. So I congratulate you on this important work. Well done. I now introduce to you Jacqueline Banyana Moseki. Congratulations. Oh, now I got some dancing. Astrid, you're in the way of the dancing. Okay, so Lucia, you can sit down if you want for a minute. So I say to Jacqueline, whose project title was An Exploration of the Reasons for Regulatory Non-Compliance Within the Financial Banking Services, you've definitely made Mr. Rupa happy today by looking at this. I think for us, we need to understand, they want you to look at them, that ethics and compliance is really an important aspect of any organization. We cannot run organizations unless we do things systemically and we see things holistically. And regulation and compliance is a really important part, but too often people see it as something linear just because it's regulatory. Mr. Rupa has taught me over the years that he's advised on council that unless we look at regulation and compliance in a systemic way, in a truly way that everything impacts everything else, we will never truly understand it. So for attempting to do this, which is a very difficult task, I congratulate you today. Well done. And thank you for the dance from the Museki family. I appreciate that. Our next candidate is Lucia Ntombekhle Nkosi. Congratulations. Project title, An Investigation into the Relationship Between Ethical Sales and Reward Management in Regional Banking. Lucia, I want to say that when we look at relationships and we bring in the word ethics, it becomes really important when we're trying to reward. So you looked at the dichotomy between ethical sales and reward management. And it is a really innovative way that you looked at it. But it is quite a tough environment to try to find this balance. So I think you really looked at the micro, the macro, the meso, and the ecosystemic perspectives, because you looked at the individual, but you also looked at the circumstances within the outer environment. And this is not an easy task, and you certainly look like a princess today in your outfit. And so I say congratulations to the lady of the moment. Well done. To the Nkosi family, we say congratulations. The next candidate I present to you is Harry Petrakis. Now, you are going to have to shout a lot louder for Harry because he is the student who got his qualification cum laude. Harry's project title was Enhanced Operational Efficiencies and Productivity Through Outcomes-Based Remuneration in Bulk Cash Processing. Harry, you're not allowed to leave yet. I want to first comment by saying few people understand what it takes to receive a qualification cum laude, and I congratulate you for that. I think that you really did TIPS justice because you looked at remuneration in an extremely holistic way. You took in the management of innovation, the management of people into account, but you also understood that change would need to happen and we'd have to refine the management of technologies within the organization to remunerate things that were really innovative. So for doing this from a truly systemic perspective and being agile, aligned, and engaged, I congratulate you on this, and to the Petrakis family on your cum laude. Well done. In absentia, we graduate Paroshni Reddy. Project title, The Factors That Motivate Staff in the Service Suite Environment. I think staff motivation is certainly about balance and consistency and trying to have a more balanced workforce and really considering that people are holistic individuals and not just knowledge workers within an organization. In her absence, we congratulate Paroshni Reddy. Our next candidate is Roslyn Russell. Congratulations. Roslyn's project title is an exploration on how to transform frontline support to improve workflow. So I want to say to you, Roslyn, that agility is something that is very important, and it's often very difficult to do when you have a coordinated task, which in terms of this is what it is. But you somehow managed to operationalize ideation, which is one of the key practices in the TIPS managerial leadership framework. It says that just because you have to operationalize something does not mean it can't be innovative and we can't have ideation surrounding it. And I think you have certainly done that because you also promoted experimentation, which is a critical part of agility. So for you being an agile knowledge worker, I congratulate you today. Congratulations to the Russell family. Be proud of Rosalind's achievements. They say we save the best for last, and so I say today to you, Leroy, You are our last graduate coming up today. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Leroy Franklin Thomas. Congratulations. Leroy's project title is The Impact of Customer Centricity Training on the Client Experience. Now, I've said to you, Leroy, that, and I've said to many people, for me, the customer experience and being customer-centric is the way that organizations not only build their power in terms of return on investments, etc., but it is also about the popularity of the brand, the visibility of the brand, and people's feel towards that brand. So because you looked at something like customer centricity, but you also looked at ensuring and training people within this space, it is really a way to grow people's association with your brand through your staff. We have to start inwards and get that organizational culture going before we can have an outward experience. So on looking at a really important aspect of managing people, I congratulate you. Well done. We once again thank First National Bank for their contribution to the students, but it is indeed exciting for me because I would like to serenade each of you now with the Josie Opera singing God Bless Africa to Bronwyn, Brenda, Yandiswa, Carmen, Stembiso, Refense, Michlaketo, Tandeka, Flora, Jacqueline, Lucia, Harry, Paroshni, Roslyn, and Leroy. Congratulations. I'm sure you agree, definitely beautiful voices we have there. So it is indeed my honor as Program Director to be able to close off this proceedings with a few words. Today, I want to speak about being aligned. It is a really important part of being an agile, aligned, and engaged managerial leader, as you all are. And to understand alignment, we have to understand that change will always happen. If you look at the alignment between the management of technology and people, which is what alignment speaks to in the TIPS framework, technology is about change. We think about the small t at Vinci, not the big one, which means any tools that enable us. So this is about shift and change, but it's also about people. And so the two competencies directly connected to this is the co-creation of direction and the co-creation of meaning. So firstly, I want to remind you regarding the co-creation of directionality. Each and every one of you has your own vision and has your own mission to this lifetime. And as organizational and knowledge workers, we often are guided by our organization's vision and mission. But today, I only want to speak about yours. I want to say that we operate better as human beings when we're guided by a vision and we believe our efforts will actually make a difference to this world. So I want you to be a beacon for others, a light and a source of shining light. And that is, you will see just now that I'll discuss with you our galaxy of remarkability, but it is to be people's North Star. You have that light within you because you know how to co-create direction. So never forget your vision, never forget your personal mission, and always make sure that whatever job you do and wherever you are in the world making a difference, that vision and mission is aligned with the one that you are busy operating within, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for an organization. When our vision and mission aligns with those that we co-create, you have a much more fulfilling and purpose-driven life. The next thing is about co-creating meaning. This is about value adding to our life. Dr. Champion spoke about the importance of balance. He said we've got to love our sports as much as we love our jobs, as much as we love our families. And so I say to you today, the Japanese concept that you would have learned at Vinci about ikigai. Ikigai is this funny word, but it means, why are we motivated to get up every day? What is our purpose in this life? And my purpose, Bronwyn, is not the same as yours or Brenda's or yours, Yandiswa. It's not the same. So I want to say to each and every one of you that something that we need to remember is that energy exchange is a massive part of co-creating direction, co-creating meaning. Carmen, you've got a very open face, for example. Sometimes we look at different audiences and we say, our energy resonates. When I look towards you, I see that. Brenda, I just saw your excitement the whole day. I saw you grab Bronwyn's leg and be like, we're here. This is your special energy, guys. This is your magic. Every single one of you has it. You all have different meanings and different purposes. So today I encourage you to co-create direction and meaning that will always add value to your lives. I would like you to close your eyes now, everybody. And when you open your eyes, you will see a galaxy in front of you, but I first want to transport you there a little bit. And that is, keep your eyes closed. It is a dark background. I see flashes of purple. There are flashes of a light pink. And there is the North Star guiding people. There's another star. I see it's Bronwyn. Another one has just joined the galaxy, Brenda. Yandiswa, even though you're not here, your galaxy star has been set. Carmen, Stembiso, Refense, Michlaketo, Tandeka, Flora, Jacqueline, Lucia. Harry, there's your star. Parashni, Rosalind, and Leroy. Please open your eyes and see your stars in the Da Vinci galaxy. They are there, and if you look to the far side on your right-hand side, you will see mapped against real stars is the outline of the Da Vinci remarkable cow, because you are remarkable. And if you look in the front inner page of your graduation handbook, you will see the outsketching of 2 twos, sketched as a constellation under that remarkable purple star. It will forever be in our Da Vinci galaxy, for you are the class of 2022 and are a constellation in our galaxy. But today I encourage each and every one of you to grow your own constellation within the Da Vinci galaxy. Yours may look completely different. So I say, Refense, maybe yours looks like a staff. Maybe someone else's looks like a squiggle and a twirl. It doesn't matter. Your constellation is unique because it represents you as an individual. But always remember that Da Vinci will forever be your academic home, and you will always be part of our never-ending galaxy of remarkability. I congratulate you and your families today on your remarkable achievement to get to this pinnacle. It is no easy feat. And today I say to you, be the North Star, the vision for others, guide others, and have a strong belief system. Congratulations. I now call on Mr. Ndwandwe to officially dissolve this committee, well, this council, sorry.
As member of the Senate of the Da Vinci Institute, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the Da Vinci Institute of Technology and Management. Congratulations.
Thankfully, Mr. Ndwandwe got it right and said congregation. Otherwise, it would have been a council, a committee, I don't know what. Thank you. That's why we have to have our Senate members and not me doing this. So before we sing the national anthem of the Republic of South Africa, I just wanted to say that once we leave this morning, you will be outside, there will be drinks and refreshments. Thank you to those of you that have joined us online. As I always say, unfortunately, you will have to open your fridge, go to the shops, or find something in your lunchbox. We see you, nice to see you, we're waving back. Beautiful headdress, love it, very gorgeous. So I want to say, you're in your car so you can go and collect something nice to eat or drink. But to the rest of you that are here, we will serve drinks and refreshments outside. We also, these are your formal photographs, but outside there's also a couch, and one of the photographers from my team is there where you can take photos with our beautiful procession who will allow you to stand and sit in front of them. You can do individual or group photos. We send it to your conveners, it's complimentary, and you can do as many and different combinations of the photos that you want. So I would ask you to please rise for the national anthem of the Republic of South Africa, and then the academic procession will leave to Gaudiamus.